Well, if it's a parachain, then meaning they actually separate the data set.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the execution and the data are totally separated. I don't know if it's a good practice or not.
Well, I agree that that's the real key question, right? Whether it's a good practice or not.
Well, I guess Shanghai is pretty eager to express.
All right, express what? I just read the podcast wiki listings. Learn something new from podcast. The architecture is super interesting. I never see before, like other big blockchains. It looks like super integration. The best solution from the world blockchain solutions. It has hybrid consensus with Bobby and Grandpa, and the governance and the DOS smart contracts. Wasm consensus layer is have something different with our blockchains. And for now, I don't think we have to focus on the we must create our own smart contract virtual machine. Probably I will say we can integrate podcast runtime. That's all. So I have several ideas on this architecture. For Metaverse ETP chain, it's major chain have launched over for 3 years, and it has own token standard, MST, MIT, and digital identity. So I insisted it would be a built-in smart contract. It would be good. So I don't want to change some more on this token standard, but I want to add the podcast runtime environment, which is a Wasm virtual machine, into Metaverse chain, and with podcast Polkadot, the entire framework. The entire framework contains consensus layer and the P2P layer and Wasm virtual machine. So we have to change the consensus layer to recognize Metaverse EDP chain, the MST, MIT, and the digital identity. So to ensure the Wasm virtual machine can operate our token standard. So that's all. So so I will say maybe Metaverse EDP chain, the existing chain, we can see it as like kernel space, like a system. Linux system has kernel space and user space. We can once a program started, it will it runs as user space, but it calls something into system. It will trap into kernel space, so he can operate something like hard disk and I/O network. So I will say the Metaverse ETP chain looks like a hard disk or I/O network. People can communicate with the add-in Polkadot framework, which is substrate, so people can operate MST and MIT from Polkadot runtime environment virtual machine. So that's what I thought. So it's not so not finished the for the details. So just for an idea. So can you guys give me some feedback or yeah?
I can only see your hair.
All
I think one problem will be if you want to, for example, send. I mean, I think I like this comparison of the kernel and the user space, but then in this terminology, for example, an MST would be something like the hard disk, and you have a driver, you have a kernel driver that provides the information about an MST so that you can transfer an MST. So, but then the MST would always stay on the main chain, right? So you can never transfer tokens from the main chain to a user space. It is always something that the kernel has to do.
Yeah, it can be transferred to the user space by maybe the cross-chain message passing. You know, Polkadot has this framework to cross-messaging. So maybe by cross-messaging, we can transfer ETP to another chain, like, you know, DNA. People can transfer MIT to DNA chain.
Okay, let me use my own word to rephrase what you just said, just to see if I understand you correctly. So what you think is we need to leave ETP chain as is, and the token standard on ETP chain, like MST and MIT, will remain intact, and probably the digital identity as well, but we need to discuss this later. And you want another layer of substrate, or you call Polkadot, in between as a bridge. So the virtual machine will be running on this bridge layer of a substrate. And this virtual machine will be able to operate ETP chain's token and migrate them onto DNA, or maybe in the future on Ethereum or BTC as well, something like that. And some of the functionality will reside on the bridge chain, which is the substrate chain. So the programmable layer will be on the substrate and the Polkadot, and the data layer, or the core data layer. When we say core data layer, you call it kernel. The kernel layer are the token standards, probably digital identity standard. All the standards will be in the kernel. You call it ETP. We call it ETP chain. Now, the DNA chain will be the application layer. So basically, you will manipulate the data and interact with application using the bridge layer. So the logic will remain in the bridge layer, and the real application will be on the DNA level. So basically, token standard down there, and the exchange, decentralized exchange or swap, are actually applications. So, and then maybe later on the NFT, OpenSea idea things will be on the DNA or application level, or other parachain that you want.
Yeah.
Your idea, right? So now, then I understand, right? I'm not saying you're right. I'm just saying I'm understanding what you say.
From Chen Hao's explanation, Eric, I think it's a fantastic idea. And it's actually less substrate Polkadot related, because his suggestion is just use the WASM runtime environment that Polkadot and Substrate use. It's not something they developed, is what I'm saying. It is only a function that they use in the Polkadot environment. WASM is a separate tool on its own. And Chen Hao is suggesting using that same runtime environment, which has some good success in the Substrate Polkadot world, in our own chain.
So actually, I want to keep the runtime environment same as Polkadot's in future. You know, we need the Polkadot's developers, if they can deploy their own program on Polkadot and same to Metaverse, that would be good. And for more we will have MST and MIT standard, which is podcast doesn't have right now.
I think one problem could be the finality, because what Polkadot provides is finality, and and it forces finality on its partially on its parachains, or no, it does force it on the parachains. So, but if the metaverse chain reorgs, for example, it has to force the child chains also to reorg.
Yes, actually, you know, we have we already have the depose algorithm before, but we didn't active yet. So right now, I want to change the depose algorithm can compatible with podcast. So we still use the hybrid consensus, but the third one, depose, will compatible into podcast. So the two can communicate each other.
So you mean that our depose will provide finality?
Yeah. I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I've activated depose on the new testnet, so we can check it, like how the current implementation.
We need to change it. You know, the podcast they have two layer consensus. The first Bobby and Grandpa. So maybe we have to change our depose algorithm. Seems like Grandpa or and baby Bobby. It's hard to read.
And who will implement that? Any ideas?
Yeah, that is execution issue. So I will see. We'll have. I will looking for some talent C++ developer or some blockchain research on this, and yeah, maybe soon. So that is the team building.
Maybe we should write it down and have something, maybe like a light paper on this, like how this can work, and then we can divide it into different sub projects.
Yeah. So it just idea. So I thought within today, so not so in details, you know.
No, we have people here. I mean, Jorge, Andrea, Oli, Razvan. Well,
Yeah,
they're talented.
yeah,
talented.
You're right. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, Sven, we just talked before. We need a metaverse wiki like Polkadot.
Yes, we talked about it yesterday. Yeah. I looked at our current documentations. I think it's not too bad. I think the content should be organized in a better way, but from the like the tool itself is not too bad. Like our current documentation, docs.mvs.org. I think it's okay. But we have to organize the content in a better way, because right now it started to be very focused on the full node, on the metaverse full node. So if you see our documentations is almost always about which command you can use on the full node to issue an avatar, for example. But I think this should be moved to like its own section. Like, okay, this is a full node section, maybe like a Light Wallet section and a DNA section, and yeah.
Well, my comment is yes, the documentation is pretty good for the developers.
So I will say we should start from documentations, not for the codes. So
yeah, for someone just coming want to understand what metaverse is, and it's not so good. So we need to think about the the researchers. They come in to understand what metaverse is. They should see these guys are the majority, right? We should give them an interface, say, oh, this is who we are, what we do, and what is possible. Then later on, you drill down, you can have a developers layer of documentation. That would be making more sense. Yeah. Well, I can do the editing on the user interface.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we decide to use the existing website dockers.ms.org. Then we can put our content like the design and the user manual, something like, into the website.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can add automated deployment so that we can just change the markdown files and then it will automatically be deployed.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. It hosting on the GitHub.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Once you commit, actually you can deploy automatically.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. What else?
The T-shirt you're wearing says very hot in Spanish, mucho caliente. That's what it says, Eric. It says very hot.
It's Señor Frog.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
I have this collecting T-shirt habit. Whenever I go to a travel destination, if there's a Señor Frog store, I have to buy a T-shirt. I'm not technically a hardcore collector, but the collectors usually don't wear them, but I do wear them. Anyway, that should be it. Let's. If you don't have anything else, let's meet on Thursday. And I think Chen Hao, you probably need to give some guidance to Oli and Razvan on how do we proceed on the virtual machine. Do we? We just need something on the substrate, right? It should be pretty easy for Jorge, right?
Be done before you go to bed tonight, Eric.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, right, Sven, you didn't tell us about the testnet.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, yeah. So for the testnet, I actually have to change the URL because like last night, yeah, you called me and we found a name. So because Chen Hao also suggested it should be an astronomical term. So yeah, Eric decided it should be the Andromeda testnet.
It's a very long word.
Yeah. So I will set a new URL, and so far it's built from a branch called Playground. So it's really just to play around a little bit with some of the new functionalities. So I also activated DPoS and the new MIT functionalities. So if you have a domain certificate, then you are the only one who can create MITs with this prefix. There are some like additional functionality. So the consensus allows MITs to be included in transactions that also have ETP and MSTs, so that atomic swaps are possible. Laurent and I already had a transaction, so in which I created an MIT and I created a partially signed transaction in which I sent this one MIT and I received 10 ETP. So this is kind of like an order, and I sent this to Laurent, and Laurent, like, because by itself this transaction is not complete. The consensus would reject it because it has one MIT in and no MIT out, and it doesn't have any ETP input, but it had a 10 ETP output. So Laurent added the ETP input, and he used the MIT output to send it to himself, and then he broadcasted it, and the consensus validated it. So essentially it was like a MIT swap, like a trustless MIT swap.
Cool. Do you think we should also have a substrate testnet?
Yeah, why not? I mean, also this testnet, this Andromeda testnet, like we will probably reset it a couple of times. Like Laurent and I, we already resetted it a couple of times because we found something was not working, or some parameter should be changed. And this, for the same purpose, we can have a substrate-based testnet if yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then bye-bye, guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay,
Bye.
nice seeing
Thank
everybody
you.
again. Bye, guys.
Good to see everybody.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.